Well, this is that awkward moment where I'm afraid that I may be live on YouTube twice and I forgot to go live on Facebook. Or have I gone live on Facebook twice and forgot to go live on YouTube? Because that does happen. That does happen, and I think it just happened. So I'm afraid. No, I think it might be right. And I'm only saying that because I can see that the number of people that are watching on one is different than what's watching on the other one. So I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. Hey folks, Longhorn Lester here, and I'm coming to you on Friday, the day after Daniel Arms pulled that stunt of his. Oh, I'll tell you what. Just about the time that you start liking somebody. Some people are just very, very likable. And other folks have to kind of like slowly wear on you. They slowly wear on you. And Daniel, you see, Daniel's the kind of guy who has been slowly wearing me down. That's right, he just begins to kind of like chip away at you, and he finally, it's like peeling back onions. Messing with me is like peeling back onions. And Daniel finally begins to peel back some layers. Daniel is peeling back layers, and these little chit chats that we have, and sometimes we'll do a little group text with old Jason Smith over at Cog Hill, and then these guys start peeling back layers, and I become very vulnerable. That's what happens. I become very vulnerable, and I begin to open up. And as soon as I open up to Daniel, if he doesn't come, well, you saw the video. You saw the video, and you saw how hurtful, just the hurt. And you could just see the laughter in his eyes, and how he just knew that this was just going to hurt, and just going to just grind it in. And that was hard to take. And we all know that there was no truth in that. Yeah, I will agree. Daniel put on a pretty good Lester performance, if you want to call it that. But yeah, he snuck me into that one. Whenever Jamie and I were doing our live on Sunday, and we're sitting here together, and I'm sharing a story that one of Daniel's people emailed me, and now I'm pretty sure Daniel set the whole thing up. I'm pretty sure Daniel probably has some kind of maybe a few alias emails, so he can do that stuff himself. He gets me entrapped in this email thing back and forth. And so what does someone do? I just offer a simple challenge out there. Never in 100 years did I ever think that Daniel or Jason or anyone else that I challenge to these things would be watching. Why would they? Really, why would they? And then if lo and behold, Daniel doesn't hook up with Jason, and the two of them begin to start scheming. Yeah, and you saw the result of that. But I'll tell you what, it was entertaining. Jamie got a really, really big laugh out of it. And so that's nice that you guys are able to entertain my wife so well. Very clever, very clever. And I was forced to do something that I don't like to do, and I had to find a way to, I had to offer my rebuttal. I couldn't just take it and do nothing. And so I'm pretty sure that you all have seen the rest, though. It is what it is. That was a lot of fun. And I just know that I don't know where Daniel gets his information from. I don't know. I just cannot for the life of me picture where he gets his information from. Number one, Did y'all hear the way he was rambling on? Did y'all hear the way the guy was just rambling on? It's like he never took a breath. The guy never slowed down to take a breath. I don't know how he was able to do that without, having some kind of a medical issue. But seriously, he never took a breath. He never slowed down. And then, oh my God, it was so annoying. He was just jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping from one topic to the next. There was no way to segue into, one or the other. He was just chop, 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 chop. As a teacher, I've always been a writing teacher, so I always taught my students how you segue from one paragraph into the next. And so you have a topic sentence, and then, that's where you state your thesis, and then your paragraph supports that, and then you will slowly ease into the next topic. That's why my videos come out the way they do, where they're very methodic and they're very strategic, and I'm always very thorough. And Daniel was just jumping around like it was like firecrackers. It was like watching firecrackers go off. And I don't mean those pretty firecrackers. I mean the kind that the little black cats that the whole line and you just light them once and yeah, Daniel, I could barely stay focused. I couldn't keep up with it, really. And then I had Jamie sitting there laughing in my ear, and that was the most annoying laugh ever because I realized that she's laughing at somebody who's making fun of me. Yeah. And that was really hard. That was tough. Anywho, I survived it, and I'm glad Daniel got his laugh out of it, and it was real clever the way Daniel came back there at the end. After just completely humiliating me and all that I stand for here, then he comes back at the end and says a couple of nice things, and that'll make it all okay. That'll make it all okay. See, no damage done. So I was nice at the end, so yeah. Well, I hope that Daniel knows that people like me have a very hard time of letting go. People like me have a very hard time with letting go. And so once you, oh my God, hey, seriously?
Have you seen the shorts for these?
What are you wearing that for?
I think it's cool. You don't think it's cool?
I mean...
I'm about to go to Walmart. I need to get
Can you scoot over so we can see you in both cameras?
So that was the... Like this? Or like button it?
That was our police outfit as part of our skit talking about the early days in Daniel's career. And so you got all the top, you got the hat, you got the glasses. What are you missing?
The shorts. I can't find them. I done looked in my drawers. I looked at your house. I asked Jamie.
Oh, the shorts. I'm wearing the shorts.
What?
I got the shorts on.
Why are you wearing...
Hold me up for a minute.
Why are you wearing those?
Huh?
Why are you wearing those?
What do you mean why I'm not wearing them?
They're...
What do you mean? What's the problem with this, Jake? What's wrong?
Oh my gosh.
Why do you want to wear them for?
So I can finish my outfit.
I had them on first, Jake. I was wearing them first, and they go really well with my Longhorn Lester belt buckle. And I think, hold me up for a minute, don't let me fall. I think they look amazing with these boots. There's no way I can show my boots, but yeah. Ah! Okay.
Why did your knee pop like that?
That's just how my knees pop. Well, sit down, Jake. You might as well sit down now. You didn't come in and...
All right. I ain't got long, but
you ain't got long. Did y'all hear how he said that? He ain't got long.
I ain't got long. What is this?
That was something that we were gifted, and I hung that up this morning. I didn't really take anything of yours and Jamie's down because I didn't have time for all that. Seriously, I didn't have time for all that. Let's scoot forward a little bit, Jake. I do not want people trying to look up my shorts.
I don't want people trying to look down my shirt.
Yeah, I was sitting at an angle where I happened to glance, and I could see that you could look right up into my shorts. And I'm like, you know what, we're not going to go there.
Oh, no.
It's one thing to put on a costume for... Stop talking about my old ass knees. Do you have to say it like that? It is true that I have a couple of knee issues. Thank you to Ringo. People should realize this, that I was completely normal. I was completely normal until Ringo shows up out here.
I don't know about completely normal.
No, but as far as my health goes,
Oh, yeah.
I would go out there and throw football in the yard with these guys. I was go the one in the woods playing paintball with these guys. I never limped or any of that nonsense until we get Ringo. And then next thing you know, it was cute. You know, Ringo pop, it's kind of cute. Kind of hurts, but cute. And then another day, pop, and that was cute. That was before we got the bell.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we got the bell, we began to kind of look out for that. But by then the damage was done. The damage was done, and so my knee has not been the same since. Yeah, you look really cool in that outfit, Jake. And you looked a lot better than I did. I tell you what.
I think it fits me a little bit better.
When I asked Daniel to send me that, I wanted to use that in my skit. And I said, Daniel, I don't have anything from Oklahoma State Troopers, so if you could send me one of your old outfits. And then I got that, he sent that FedEx the next day. Why are you laughing for?
I don't know. This was his official uniform. Could you imagine him walking up to the window? What's he gonna do with these? What's he gonna do with these?
Stop. You're going to ruin my life. If we get the giggles, we're going to be good for nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Daniel.
Can you imagine trying to chase somebody in those shorts?
Hey, Daniel. I would like to do a little skit like you did about me, but I don't have an outfit to wear. I want to tell your story from the get-go, from the early years, from the Daniel Arms before he was the YouTuber. And I says, but Daniel, I don't have an outfit to wear. I says, could you send me one of your trooper outfits? I said, I know you have some left over. And I remember the video where you actually, what do they call that, signed off. And I said, I'm sure you must have an outfit laying around somewhere.
Oh my!
So
she's soaking wet.
Yeah, put her outside. So yeah, Daniel, he sent me this outfit, and now all of a sudden, Jake, as I see everyone laughing, and I see you laughing, now maybe I'm thinking that was just one more prank that Daniel pulled on me by making me think that this was one of his outfits, and instead. He would have never worn something like this.
Yeah, he definitely got the last laugh on that one.
You see, sometimes there's some people like Daniel Arms, y'all, and they just never stop. They never stop. Well, Jake, I would say that you wear it pretty well. You wear it a lot better than I did. And if you really are going to Walmart that way, you might want to be careful because there are certain police officers that will pull you over and out of a fit of rage, probably ticket you for trying to impersonate law enforcement.
I probably shouldn't go to Walmart, but I do have a trip planned to go to Oklahoma this weekend.
Oh.
So
So you think you'll fit right in?
Yeah, I'm gonna run the roads out there.
If you actually go to Oklahoma, yeah. So I will give you the shorts. However, I'm not gonna be able to give them to you right this minute.
Please don't.
Yeah, I think that the shorts probably need to stay right where they're at, along with my boots, because that's the way I came, and that's the way I'm going home, Jake. And so I'm sorry, you'll have to just deal with the shorts a little bit later. All right?
Can you wash those before I get them? I just feel like they're just so tight on you, like there's no air breathing, there's nothing, it's just...
Jake, I was going to go ahead and talk about this ornament behind me here, because I can tell that you're just up to no good. You're up to no good. I hope that you all were able to watch Jake's live last night. Jake did his very first live by himself. He has jumped into quite a few lives with me and Jamie, and that's always been fun. I say it's fun, but whenever Jake jumps into a live, it seems like the numbers go up. Numbers go up. And I like seeing numbers go up. So thank you. Thank you, Jake. Thank you for that. And I will say this. It's hard to get numbers during the middle of the day. It's hard to ever get numbers during midday. And so you guys who do your lives in the afternoon have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to stuff like that. But I think we're doing pretty good over here. We got 1,000 over on the old YouTube. We got a couple of
57.
thousand. No, 2,500 over on the Facebook. Jake, how do you know if you just look at the two screens which one is which? Because could it be possible that they're both on Facebook or either they're both on YouTube?
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, how do we know that? Because I don't know exactly what you all see on your end.
It doesn't.
But on our end, they look exactly the same. And they look so much the same that it makes me wonder, am I on the same platform twice?
Oh, look. You saw that?
Someone said you're on YouTube over here.
YouTube here.
So can you see if someone over there says that we're on Facebook?
Can somebody please type what platform this is? Right here. What is this?
Yeah, I will have Jake show you his shirt if you'll let us know what platform we're on over here.
Oh, one more. Tell us where we're at all of them, but another button.
Of course, no one's saying anything.
No one's saying it. Maybe these are fake comments. Maybe this one's just playing like a preview live.
Anyway, all right. Well,
we better look over here.
Thank you, YouTube, for at least being honest and telling us what's going on over there. But that is a legit concern, and I would think that I would have thought about that ahead of time. That if you're going to put up two videos, you got two cameras, you better make darn sure that they're on two different platforms before you press start. Because I don't know if I did that or not. I'm trying to, okay, I'm seeing a lot of Facebooks. I think that we're good. All right, so let's talk real fast about what you see here behind me. We've all had our laughs about the Daniel Arms impersonation of Lester. He did a hell of a job. He, and I will tell you this. I will say this, and I have heard this, and I have read this, and they say that, Jake, have you ever heard this expression? The highest form of flattery is
impersonation.
Yeah, whenever you impersonate somebody, that is the highest form of flattery. So maybe I kind of goaded Daniel into it by challenging him to do it. I've also challenged Jason to do it. And I would love, I know for a fact that Jacob would love to be Jason from Cog Hill. If we could get Jason from Cog Hill to do something, I know that Jake walks around half the time impersonating Jason.
I'm ready for that.
And so, yeah, he likes that kind of stuff. Hey, Lester and Jamie, please find the items wrapped in plastic as God's eye.
As what?
God's eye. Okay. God's eye. I learned to make these back in the 70s from Native American women. I met my husband on the West Coast. His mother passed away, so his stepdad wanted to have 8 of his sisters and brothers back on the reservation, which he and his mother were enrolled members. All right, so this goes on for a little while. The God's eye is supposed to watch over you and keep you safe. Okay, thank you. It's a good. It's in a good place for that. During the hurricane season, I'm glued to the news and of where the hurricanes are going. I'm praying they do not go your way. So this kind of goes on and talks more about the God's eye, which is something that she's learned to make. As far as hurricanes go, guys, we live in the Gulf Coast, and so there's no way we're going to be able to avoid hurricanes altogether. I have lived through, I would say, at least 20 either direct or indirect hurricane hits over in my years. and we've only had one in all of those hurricanes that have hit here in our neck of the woods, if you will. Only Hurricane Harvey packed the kind of a punch that it did, and that was because of a couple of different factors. It was the amount of rain, the development across the street, and the fact that they have not engineered a system of runoff from their neighborhood. And then it was the fact that this is going to be confusing to a lot of people, but the fact that we were on the dirty side or the ugly side of the storm. And if you don't know what that means, without me going into a lot of details, just know that as a hurricane circulates, there's one side where you have water pushing up into your channels or into your Gulf or into your ship channel in this case. And then you have the other side where water is pulling away. And so it just so happened that Hurricane Harvey struck to where we had the dirty side of the storm where water is pushing up into the ship channel, which made it where our water couldn't drain out. Along with that, you have all this fresh water being picked up and dropped off on that dirty side. So there were a lot of factors that made this the perfect storm, Hurricane Harvey.
It didn't just sit there.
It set, and it set, and they call that training. They call that training, like where just storm after storm after storm passed right over the same place. And so I know it's scary to live in what you would consider a hurricane-prone, places like Texas, but ultimately, only certain hurricanes can have that kind of an effect. And Hurricane Harvey was the once in my lifetime that did what it did to all of our homes and devastated all of our lives. But I appreciate this. I want to thank you for this. God's eye. I will say something, Jake. Now listen, I'm going to say something and it's going to anger a lot of people. And I would love to hear your reaction to it.
All right.
I would love to hear your reaction. So if you're ready for some controversy, if you're ready for a little controversy, then let's have some controversy, okay? So everyone knows that during Hurricane Harvey, before, and this is before Morrowland flooded. This is before Morrowland flooded. I had the news. We were still able to get the news on our phone. We had no electricity. But I remember that on my phone, I saw the newscast and it talked about how high the water was going to get. And it talked about the river that runs behind the house. It talked about different flood levels from past storms. And then it showed what extreme it was going to get to during Harvey. So in a way, we all knew, we knew in 12 hours advance notice that it was going to flood. We did. Now, at this point, we couldn't leave because all of the roads around Plum Grove were flooded. No one could get in or out. So there's no way you could leave Plum Grove. But we also knew, we got the news that we're going to flood. It had shown us, and I don't know how the scientists do what they do. I don't know how they predict what they predict. But they had shown how much water was falling, how much was running into our river, and how fast it was rising. And then their prediction showed it was going to be just so much higher than it's ever been in any of our lifetimes. So we knew we were going to flood. We knew it. Now, there wasn't a lot we could do because there was nowhere to go. So we began to, well, let me say we. When I say we, some of us began to take and pack and move things to higher ground. We began to take and move furniture that was on the floor, important pieces of furniture, and put them as high as we could.
Put lawnmowers up on trailers, all kind of stuff.
We began to put lawnmowers on trailers and all kinds of things. We moved, I went over and moved Uncle Raleigh and Joanne's tractors and all of their lawnmowers and moved all of their stuff to the church where we thought it would be safe. Now here's what I'm going to tell you is going to be the controversy part. And it's okay if you want to argue and fight with me, but I think it all kind of ties right back into this God's eye over here. Not just me, but other people who saw that same newscast and they saw those same numbers began to call around like crazy. And at some point, my mom, who's very, very religious, my mom is quite religious. My mom's exact words were, "Oh, Lester, we're fine. We've already laid hands on our house, and we're going to be fine." And what are you making that face for? Is this too controversial?
No, I got some comments, but I'm going to wait. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean,
No.
there's nothing being fabricated here. It might be a little bit embarrassing for some people, but what I'm trying to say is everyone looks at things like this a little bit differently. I saw a newscast, family members saw the same newscast, it come across our phones that showed how devastating this flood was going to be. And whereas half of the family went into action and began to prep, even though we knew that moving our furniture up 3 feet off the floor wasn't probably going to help too much, we did what we could do. We opened up fences for the animals. We did all that we could possibly do. Whereas another half of the family sat there and did nothing because they, quote unquote, they laid hands on their house. We already laid hands on our house. We're going to be fine. So all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, 12, 15, 20 hours later, what they said was going to happen, happened. And all of Plum Grove, and when I say all of Plum Grove, I mean every home in the city of Plum Grove was devastated. Everyone knows this already. There's nothing new here. Even the people who laid hands on their house. So my question to you is things like this over here. It's beautiful artwork. It's beautiful artwork. And I think there's something special and unique in feeling like we have this and now we're going to be protected. We're going to have God's eye watching over us. But how do you feel about stuff like that? Especially when it relates to like the Hurricane Harvey story.
Yeah. I don't know a good way to put this, but there's a difference in faith and stupidity. Like, okay, you can't pray that.
Is there a nicer word than stupidity? Because listen, I know that a lot of our followers, I know there's a lot of very strong faith-based people, and we're blessed for that. We are very blessed that there's people who are very strong in your faith. Okay, I know that. That's the page that we have. But I also feel similar to the fact that I think that it was maybe the fact that we got that newscast was God's way of saying,
right.
That might have been the voice of God in a way to say, hey, prepare. Kind of the way Noah got the word from the angel to build the ark, prepare yourselves, this is coming. Noah didn't just say, I already laid hands on my farm and my family, we're going to be fine.
It's like you can't pray to get a good job and be successful, but all you do is sit on your couch and watch TV all day. You got to prep, you got to work for it at the same time. But I think what you'd really be praying for is that willpower to do that. You can't just not work or not try and just expect good things to just.
So someone said the difference is either what they call blind faith or God protects those who protects themselves. I am sort of following. That's what I think you're saying also. There are some of those that have a blind faith. I'm just not going to think about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't have to. Because you know why? Because I went out there and I laid hands on my house. Now, I'm not saying, guys, that I'm not trying to say that that's more of a Christian, that's more of a believer, that's more of a than anybody else. I don't know. But what I do know is that we all got the exact same report. Half of us got that report and did something about it as much as we could. The other half chose not to, and yet every last one of us found ourselves sitting at some shelter after being evacuated. And so what you're saying is over here, God's helped those who help themselves. And I think that I'm more under that too. I know you lost your home, I lost my home. So I think that we have the authority to at least talk about it. But I'm not going to say, because I'm not an authority on things like this. And so, I don't know. So I would be real curious to see what you guys are saying and what you guys are thinking. And at the
Yeah.
same time, I sometimes feel like people are scared to talk about stuff like that. There's certain things you don't talk about because you're going to darn well make someone angry. You're going to upset or offend somebody. And so you don't talk about sex. You know this, right?
Yeah, politics.
You don't talk about politics. You don't
Religion.
talk about religion or money.
Yeah.
And so if you can avoid those four topics, then you can pretty much coast through life kind of in that gray area. Not black, not white. I'm just going to stay right in the gray area. But I'll tell you something, Jake. And I believe that a lot of people on these pages respect us because we don't play it safe. We don't always say what is politically correct. We don't always do it or not do what might possibly offend someone here and there. I'll tell you, yesterday Jake and I were talking, and I'm going to say laughing about the pronouns thing. There was something on the news. I'm sorry, Jake, if this is embarrassing to you, but it's true. Listen to me. Jake and I, neither one of us care about your sexual preference. Jake and I like girls. We've always liked girls. And so you already know that. But if you don't like girls, if you like guys, or if a girl likes another girl or a guy likes a guy, we don't care. Seriously, we are at the point in our lives where maybe our grandparents would have said something, hush, 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 you're not invited to Sunday dinner. Maybe even our parents might have had some prejudices towards people that didn't, do things traditionally. And then maybe there's a biblical folks that have certain beliefs on certain things. And that's fine, because neither of us are going to judge you that because we disagree on something. And so we do find it a little bit difficult to understand the whole thing about pronouns. There are people that are saying, you don't refer to me as a he or a she, or I'm not an it. No, I'm not an it. How dare you? I'm not an it. I am a they or them. And so that's the whole gender neutral. It takes the gender out of things. But my only problem with that is not those people. If that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But remember that we live on a farm and we have animals, and animals are not born as they or thems. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be mean to you. But an animal is born either with male genitalia or female parts. Mm-hmm. And those animals, for the entirety of their life, your males are your males and your females are your females. He's and she's. And so we don't have the luxuries of in our lifestyles of referring to animal things as they and them. And so
unless they're in a group. Look at all them goats. They're all together. That would be a group of people.
We totally understand the rules of grammar, and so they or them is just one thing that Jake and I talked about yesterday. We find ourselves having the deepest conversations. See, y'all look at us, and you probably see a couple of sex objects. That's the problem. That's the problem, Jake. See, you walk in here wearing stuff like that. I walk in here wearing shorts like I'm wearing with these stripper boots. And all y'all do is think that we're a couple of dummies, a couple of sex objects. And I hope that you understand how demoralizing that is for brilliant minds like we have. We are so brilliant, and we want to be challenged here. We want you to learn to keep your eyes here and challenge us here. That's not really how I feel at all.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, we're making all that bullshit up. We're just bullshitting ourselves around right now. Yeah, we're just bullshitting y'all for a little bit.
It's too hard. I'm unbuttoning the bag.
No, but I tell you what, we've had some really neat conversations. Jake and I have found ourselves doing some jobs where we get down in them woods and we start talking, and one thing leads to another, and it's exhilarating to know that you can still have conversations with people and they don't have to agree with you. They don't have to. And yet you can still feel the same for that person afterwards. And here's what I mean. There's feelings that are hurt right now. I'm reading comments. I'm not replying to any of them because I see how many people have their feelings hurt because of what I'm saying. But that's the whole thing. I'm not a spokesman. I'm not the spokesperson. I'm just a guy that for some reason you guys watch his farm and his farm animals. Jake's a guy that comes over without his shirt on and does farm chores. And so we're not spokespeople, and we were never schooled or trained or brought up to know what to say. We're not politicians or religious leaders and stuff. We're just funny men. We're two funny men.
Well, we think we're funny.
We think that we're funny. We think that we're two funny men. And so sometimes two funny men can say things. I'm the uncle, so I'm allowed to pick on Jake all I want to. He can't pick back. He's not allowed to until he becomes an uncle himself.
I am.
Well, then you go pick on that little girl, but you don't pick on me.
I could never pick on little baby Carter, never.
You can pick on your nieces and your nephews, but you can't pick on your uncles and aunts. There's something backwards about that. So, anywho, yeah, I don't even know where all that came from.
Yeah, but, what happened? What just happened?
Well, Daniel Arms is what happened. See, Daniel Arms put that mess into my head.
He's setting us
and
up.
Made me think that I was some kind of a rambling fool. And now I find myself acting like a rambling fool.
Wait a minute. You don't think he put like mics and stuff in this uniform?
I don't know what Daniel Arms would have put in that uniform. But I'll tell you what. I'm betting that DJ, which is Daniel's wife, probably wants these uniforms back pretty soon. I'm betting you that Daniel didn't have permission to send these off, and she's probably wanting Daniel's uniforms back. You know, because
he can come to Texas and get it himself. I'm not sending this back.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because guess what? Rumor has it that Daniel Arms might be coming to Texas. Now, I am not one to pass along rumors, but all I'm doing is telling you something that I heard.
Okay.
So if he does come to Texas, then we will certainly see if he wants to put back on his old uniform and play Oklahoma Trooper, Cops and Robbers. So I'm going to open a couple of gifts that I have. I brought 3 along with me here. They all say Lester Morrow. So no matter how much you want to open one, nothing has your name on it.
That's all right. This is about my time to go. You got them packages? I'm going to go out and wait for you to be done with them shorts.
What package are you talking about? Because I'm still wearing the shorts.
All right, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yeah, this package stays right with me, Jacob.
Yeah, you can have
this package stays right here. Hey, I didn't mean any disrespect to the work that you put into this piece of art that you call God's Eye. I think it's beautiful that you use these and that you come from a culture of people who are very strong in their beliefs and their faith. And sometimes I wish that I was stronger. Sometimes I wish that my life could be easier if I could be stronger with my faith. But this is who I am. I guess I'm more of a realist, where I just kind of see things the way life happens, and I just kind of go with it from there. But thank you so much for the gift. It is beautiful, and it has a really nice place here on the wall. I'll make sure that whenever Jamie comes by, she'll put it somewhere where it looks more professionally done. I just used a thumbtack and stuck it up. I just stuck it up. All right, so this here comes to Lester Morrow, and it feels a little cottony. So I'm thinking some kind of a shirt, and I was right on. Now I don't know if these are going to be turned around where you can read them or not. So it says, I only drink Dr. Pepper 3 days a week. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So I'm guessing that somebody must know about my Dr. Pepper addiction. Can I be honest about something? Have you ever known yourself to have an addiction, but you're completely okay with it, and you actually don't want help? Is that normal? Could that be normal for someone to know you have an addiction? I mean, you know you have an addiction. You know that there's something that you do that probably is frowned upon, either morally or health-wise or spiritually or whatever. You have an addiction, yet you don't want help with it. You're kind of like completely okay with that addiction. And so I think that if you have an addiction and you don't want help with it, then I don't think it's ever going to go away. No matter how many people pray for you, or no matter how many people try to do these interventions or anything else, I think that there are some addictions that we all have, and I know we all have addictions. I see someone said pizza. And I don't think that we want help. I think that we are completely... My addiction is denial. Yeah, I think that might be what's going on. I have nothing wrong with me. I'm not addicted. Yeah, that's just denial. A rubber stamp addiction. So I am not alone in my addictions. There's a lot of folks that have a caffeine addiction. But I'll tell you this, and I feel strongly about this. I feel like if I had to have an addiction, then I think that I would rather it be something like sodas, or let's just say sugar, a sugar addiction. Even though it can lead to some horrible things, some diabetes, and the folks who deal with diabetes and stuff, I don't know what you're going through, but I know how horrible that must be. So I know that sugar addictions can be bad, very, very, very harmful. I mean, it was my own doctor who told me to cut back on the Dr. Pepper, so I know. But I feel like things like gambling and obviously sex addictions, and then, drinking, obviously drug use. I've talked to people through the page and who have talked about their struggles with their addictions and how harmful their addictions are, and then how long they've been clean. And you can't help but feel so proud of them and proud for them. But I think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think that I'm completely okay with my Dr. Pepper addiction. And I don't think I want help with it. And I don't think you'd be proud of me. I don't think if I said, guess what, y'all? Today I'm drinking water. I don't think all of y'all are going to say, yay, Lester, we knew you could do it. You keep going, Lester. I also hear what you're saying about the type 2 diabetes, and I get that. So it's tough. Let's open another gift. This also comes to Lester Morrow. And it feels like it would be a t-shirt. I have a lot of t-shirts to wear. This is so true. Carl is no Ernie. Now, I'm going to tell y'all where this came from. And I hope I don't get the dreaded from Facebook or YouTube for talking about this. But I made a video. I'm sorry, I gotta pull my shorts there. I think this might be what they call female problems. I should never have worn these shorts, because even though I thought it would be funny and it might get a laugh, yeah, they're not really feeling as comfortable now as they did when I first slipped them on. And when I say slip them on, these are the kind of shorts that you can slip on. I've always wondered how women can kind of word things. I'm going to slip into something, I'm going to slip into something, or I'm going to slip out of something. Well, guess what? These shorts are the only shorts I've ever slipped into. And that's pretty awesome. But now they're not feeling as awesome. So when I say that Carl is no Ernie, that's referring back to a video that I built not too long ago. It was pretty funny, but you all know how Ernie, the times that he has hooked up with Annie, has been such a sweet, sweet moment. I'm sure there are people who have watched those videos, who have just watched Ernie and Annie, and you probably had your hands crossed just like this. You probably had your hands on your chin like this as you just sat there and watched, and you had a big smile on your face. And you might have been like in your own mind reminiscing of a time back in the days whenever possibly, and I'm saying possibly, maybe your man kissed you on your neck and nibbled on your ear, and you probably closed your eyes and just, and that is in fact what we all saw when we saw Ernie doing his thing with Annie. That is not, however, what we've seen from any other of our animal species. All the other animals around our farm are not like that. They're not a bunch of, they don't make sweet love, okay? They don't make sweet love. Instead, it's a very hardcore, it's a farm mentality, it's a ranch mentality, it is an animal mentality. There's a lot of very brutal acts that we've witnessed on the farm. And I would say 100% Annie and Ernie is very unlike anything else we've ever seen. It is the most gentle and the sweetest. But even though it's so gentle and sweet, there are a lot of you that have made comments and says, "What the heck, Ernie, go get." And you've also made jokes about Annie and how bored she looks. And she's like, "Get it over with already." And so, to each his own. Hey, don't you ever wonder, like, if you're a guy, and I know that the page has mostly women, so this might be a bad topic for a live. But don't you think that every guy in those moments has to kind of wonder exactly if he's doing it the way that she would like it to be done? Those are the kind of things that go through my mind when I watch Annie and Ernie and I see the way Annie is looking at Ernie like, what are you doing? Then I think to myself, is Annie really doing what I think that she's doing? Is her mind really at a place where she's saying, "Let's go, do it already. Man up and do it"? And is Ernie just not that kind of a guy? I don't know. Anyway, this could get out of hand real fast. We're going to move on to this next and final gift. It feels like a flag. And if I'm not mistaken, oh my gosh, look at this. Watch out for the shorts. This is a Survivor flag from the game show Survivor. Outwit, outplay, and outlast. Jamie and I are big fans of Survivor. We are huge fans of Survivor. And we have watched every show, every season. You would say that Jamie and I are super fans. But what's funny is, I've only been with Jamie for 4 years. And so whenever I met Jamie, she was already a fan of Survivor, and so was I. So we used to have these big parties at my old school. They were Survivor parties. So every Thursday night, a different teacher would host one of the parties. And so everyone would gather up. We'd all bring our own little snack, a little finger food, and we'd all watch Survivor. And then next Thursday, a different teacher would host it, and we'd all show up with our snacks to watch Survivor. And so that's how long I've been watching Survivor, just through all of the years. And can y'all believe that Jeff, the host of the show, how little he's aged? I mean, this show's been like, I think, 25 years, close to, and he does not look hardly any older now than he did when he first started hosting this thing 45 seasons ago. And so that's just shocking to me. And so, anyway, I think that's pretty cool. thank you for that. I don't know. I see there's a little bit of a gift card here. Let's see what it says. Merry Christmas with much love from Ruth Wright and family, and they are from Florida. And they must also be Survivor fans. And so thank you very much for that. I do have a flagpole, and I will fly that flag proudly. I will probably wait until Survivor starts next season and just kind of do it along with a Thursday night theme. Okay, well, listen to me. We've come to the end of my Lunch with Lester Friday Live. Jake took off because he was embarrassed about something. Is this Daniel or Lester? So that's a good question, but I think you can tell from the fact that I'm composed and I'm talking with and breathing at the same time that this is Lester. That was so funny. I love Daniel for doing that, y'all. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this live up by talking a little bit about some of the people who I have met online. Now, not counting you guys, as far as survivors and ultimate survivors, I have never met anybody as strong and as vigilant and as, I'm trying to think of every synonym I can think of to describe some of the people who I met through these pages. And some of the stories that you tell, you are ultimate survivors, you are true warriors. And I especially have a spot for those who've lost children and have found ways to overcome that, because it's kind of like horrible to think about, but we know that one day we'll lose our parents. And I think that our entire lives we've always kind of known that would be something that would eventually happen. Having my Uncle Raleigh so sick right now and we know that Uncle Raleigh is probably in his final years. And so you come to grips with that. But I've always admired those that have been able, it's not a good thing, but those who've lost a child and have found a way to bounce back. Because I don't know what that would take. I don't know what that would take to be able to do that. And so I do feel for so many folks who send us your stories and their stories of survival. But man, when I read one of someone who's had to lose a child and fight your way back from it, makes me feel so very blessed. And then it's like Daniel said, there's a reason that you all found this page. And I can't name exactly what your reason is and what your reason is and how you found us and how you found us. And then just the fact that you find a page, there has to be a reason why you come back to that page. Because we run across pages all the time. And, that's just kind of how, with social media, we are bombarded with so much information. But there had to be a reason why you chose to come back. And then, because you have choices, you have your phones and your TVs and your social media, along with whatever else you do in your free time. You have so many choices. And yet, for some reason, you've made a choice to continue watching this channel or this channel or this channel. And so that's just really neat the way we feel like Daniel was trying to say. He goes, there's no two channels that are going to be the same. There's something unique about all of them and all of us. And then think about how boring life would be if they were all the same. If every channel you watched was the exact same kind of thing. Jamie asked me one time, Jamie was doing an interview with the BBC. That's the British Broadcasting something. And they asked this question. They sent her a list of questions ahead of time, which was nice and kind of neat to be able to know what they're going to ask you during your interview. And they asked, what makes I'm a Survivor as successful as it is? I mean, what is it? What is it that makes you guys as successful as what you are? And so Jamie and I talked about that for a while. And no matter how much we talked about it, we kept coming back to some of the same things that we think make us successful. I'm so sorry. I'm not sick. I'm actually feeling really good. But I know for a fact that one thing that makes I'm a Survivor successful is the fact that we have a backstory. There are so many pages and so many animal pages that would love to have kind of a kickstart and a boost to get them started. I know there's amazing animal stories out there, but the problem is they just never can find their way into the door. They can't find their way to get their foot inside the door. Well, I'm a Survivor has a backstory. You know, we were, like we talked about earlier, we were front and center, ground zero of Hurricane Harvey. And because of the flood and all that it brought with it, with the death and with the rebuilding efforts and with the perseverance to overcome so many obstacles, and the fact that there was a video of coming home to all of that destruction. And so that right there would be number one reason of why I'm a Survivor is as successful, is because we have a backstory. We're not just a bunch of folks who like, hey, we like animals, let's start a sanctuary. We have a backstory. Give me a moment, please. And then number two, and this is a lot harder to do. But I am certain that this here makes all the difference in the world. You could take 100 animals and put those 100 animals on any given farm. And what you're going to see if you view that page are 100 animals. But when you take that animal and you give them a name, and you take each animal, and when I say each animal, I mean it doesn't matter how many you have. We're up to 120 right now. But when you take each animal and you help give them a personality, not give it to it, because you don't change and you don't make the animal who it is, but what you do have to do is find a way to bring that animal to life and give it as many human characteristics as you possibly can to make people be able to associate with it. Because that's what we do when we watch movies and we watch TV shows and we read novels. What we want to do are find characters that we can associate with, that we can understand, that we can relate to. And so what we have to do as a farm is we take our animals and we give them and we show you and we talk about their personalities. And so next thing you know, you find yourselves realizing that I'm a Survivor sanctuary and any given video is the same thing as watching any TV show on your favorite channel. It's as good as watching any of your Hulu or Netflix shows. You never know exactly what character is going to do what in which episode, yet you always know that there's going to be a protagonist, the antagonist, the good guy, the bad guy, the peacemaker. And that's not even mentioning what Jamie and I do in our role, and then Jake in his role, and Ellie with his role. And so we really are so very blessed that we're able to do that with these animals, give them that kind of a personality, one that you can relate to, one that you can fall in love with. And at that point, they become like your friends. They become your favorite characters in your books. They become the favorite characters in your movies. And then you live and you continue to wait for what's going to happen next. And so in saying so, that makes it to where our channel is not one that you just watch every once in a while, but once you're really invested, it's like you want to see what's going to happen on every given day. You can't seem to hardly miss a video because you're afraid of what you may miss out on. And so that right there, I think in a nutshell, is what makes I'm a Survivor as successful as it is. And hearing Daniel talk a little bit about how his farm has changed from 5 years ago, where he said he raised animals to process, compared to now to where he has animals that he's getting to know their personalities and how he's bringing those personalities to you. So now you have a chance to get to know these animals by name, You know them by name. You know their personalities. And that right there alone, guys, tells us, and Daniel reinforced it, that right there is what makes a page successful. And especially when it's an animal page. And we just could not be more blessed. The those of us that have taken on telling the animal stories and telling the stories that happen here on Morrow Hill and having you guys follow along and wanting to be a part of it. You know, you put up with the most annoying of ads. We know how annoying the ads are. We also watch channels, and there are days when we're not invested enough into the video to continue watching past the ad. And so I know how hard that is to do, and we appreciate you guys doing that. And like I said in my video to Daniel, I said it's just a blessing. It's more than a blessing. It's just a gift. We've been given a gift, and we don't want to take advantage of it. We want to make sure that we take this gift and we do all that we can with it, and just show God and show each other, show you all how much we appreciate this gift, and we don't want to take advantage of it. And hey, if it's up to me, we'll be doing this for a very, very long time. I honestly can't picture anything else I would want to do in my life right now. Teaching was great, and I have some really neat teaching stories. Driving this school bus is nice. It's a way to pay my insurance, and you know, it's a way to continue staying involved in the school. But there's nothing I look forward to more than coming home from work, getting my video camera, my cell phone here, and walking outside and just waiting to see which of those many personalities is going to do something to that I want to share with you, that I just can't wait to share with you. And so we are blessed to have you guys following along. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to Daniel and to all of the other creators who have taken us under your wing and kind of taught us some of the ways of the world. And like Daniel said, we talk on a pretty regular basis, and it's true. I have learned so much from him, and I think that everybody learns from him. And he's such a nice guy that he's willing to help. He's not conceited to where he feels like he's untouchable. He's a real guy who has real family. He has real love in his heart for not only his maker, but for his family. And he's just a stand-up guy, a hell of a man. This is hell of a man. And it would be a pleasure and a privilege to meet him and his family one of these days. Okay, I really have rambled on long enough. I don't want to become too much of a Daniel Arms kind of a guy. And so I will be letting you all go. Thank you for my hour. Lunch with Lester was always fun, and especially neat today. I have to go get out of these shorts. Let me rephrase that. I have to go slip out of these shorts. The only problem is now, these shorts are not going to slip anywhere. They're going to be the kind of shorts that's going to have to be pulled and yanked and pulled and yanked, and that's not going to be easy or fun. So thank you all, and we will see you next time. There we go.